Oh, that we're recording now. Let's get into the right section. I haven't printed theirs yet. That's good. Good morning, Health Center.
Good morning.
Cool. Let's see. Makes me mad when I do that. Oh, great. It's split. I don't have to send a message. Okay. Good morning, Wellman. Good morning, Last Buddy. What we're going to do first today is I'm going to show you how to set up a Works Cited, and I will put a copy of it into the week 12. No. I'll put it in the argumentation folder and then make sure you have access to it. But I'm also putting it in course resources to show you how easy it is to create a Works Cited and to remind you once again of how to do it. So the very first thing I've done is I've opened up a Word document and I set it on double spacing. I did that first thing before I put anything in there. I've got it on double spacing, okay? So now it just so happens that I went yesterday and I downloaded articles. Haley, you'd be excited to know that I actually use Fast Fashion for my Wednesday classes, but I can't use it because that would be too much help to you if I had done that. You know, I'd be giving you additional sources, but there are some really good sources in, I'll tell you, Opposing Viewpoints and in EBSCO. I found a really good one in EBSCO, but you'll have to go find that on your own. Sorry. But I downloaded some documents. I also want to show you how to deal with a website, because some of you are insisting on not, I want to go find it on the internet, so go ahead. Anyway, this one, I'm doing animal research. I know I have somebody writing on this topic. I don't remember who it is, but there was a reason why there's a second reason besides making sure that you know how to use the SBC databases. And part of it is, if you use the databases, they give you the citation. It is so much easier to not have to create it on your own. All you have to do is put in some formatting on it. And let me tell you, it would take hours to type a Works Cited when I was writing in grad school, because we didn't have all this extra stuff given to us. We had to go out and find every piece of information to do a citation. You guys are blessed not have to do that, but I will show you how to do a website. but that's last. Okay, so this is about the shortage of lab monkeys hinders hunt for vaccines. I thought it was pretty timely. This is February 25th of this year. Now, you have to remember that when you're dealing with opposing viewpoints, that you get an abstract at the beginning, so you have to watch out, but you always scroll down to the very bottom of the article. Let me blow this up just so that we can see what we're not supposed to get. Down at the bottom, it gives you the copyright. It tells you that where it was found in the New York Times, and then it says source citation, and look, it says MLA 9th edition. That's pretty cool. Then right underneath it, you have we, Sue Lee. We is the first author's last name. Even in the databases, they alphabetize, and you alphabetize by the author's first last name. By the first author's last name. Let me say that correctly. And so what I've seen on some summaries, I haven't got to yours yet. Hopefully I'll have everybody done by this weekend. So they're going much more faster than those compare and contrast. But I've seen people go in the article, shortage of lab monkeys hinders hunt for vaccines by we, Sue Lee. And you don't do that. When you're writing, you always give the first name, last name. Just remember, like you line up by your last names for graduation, you don't talk about people by going, you don't go Thompson, Patty. That's not how you talk about us. You go Patty Thompson. So all I got to do is click and drag on this and highlight it. And then I'm going to go over to my Word document. And I've already got it set up on double space, so I copy it in and I can see it's there, but it's lost the hanging indent. If you go into class resources, I show you how to do the hanging indent. I'm going to do it right now before I do anything else on this. I'm going to put the hanging indent in. And I just put my cursor in that top line of the citation. It's right here right before the A and. You can put it anywhere in the top line. Then you go to paragraph, and you go down to the second section, which says indentation, go to special, and go to hanging. That's what you've got to put in there, and you can see how the citation down here in the sample, all of a sudden all the lines shifted over. So now I have it in there. And if I've done this correctly, which I think I have, it's now in there for any other source that I'm going to load in. So I don't have to do it for each individual one. So I'm going to go, so I've got the first one in, it's double spaced, it looks pretty. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to open up the second article. Dog experiments at VA necessary for only a few areas. So here's another one. So if any of you are doing animal experimentation, you've got some help here. Here again is the source citation, and I noticed that the person's name is Karen Brouillard, and I know that a works cited has to be put in alphabetical order by the first, whatever's given first. So I'm going to come over here and copy that. So that starts with B. I've copied it. Now I'm going to go back to the Word document, and I know that B comes before W. So I put my cursor up there, and I copied it in, and look, everything's like it's supposed to be. I have it in alphabetical order. It's got B and then W. So that was really easy. I've spent, a minute so far doing this. It's that easy to do a works cited for you guys. I have one more article. This one is coming from EBSCO. Okay, open up. And so one of the things that happens with EBSCO is when you download the document, if you just download it and copy it, you don't have the works cited. Let me go back over here, go back into the databases. Let's see. I'm just going to do this one. This happens to be an article by one of my other students. I'm going to open up this article, or I'm opening this up, and I'm going to come over here because in EBSCO you don't get like you think. What you need to do in EBSCO is you need to email yourself the article. So email to P. Thompson. Oh, I can't spell my own name. There we go. Nice default. We'll just go article 2 or 3, and I don't need anything else. And it's got HTML, when available, PDF, and the standard field format. It says detailed citation and abstract, but you have to tell it down here that you want MLA. And so when I click send, and it takes a confirmation that tells me that it's been sent, it takes a little bit of time to get to me, okay? So I'm going to click continue. Now I'm going to go over into my school email, okay? And because I actually emailed the article that I showed you yesterday to myself. So here it is. Here's the article, the one about animal experimentation. There's the PDF of it. Right below that in the email body, it gives you the works cited for MLA. And all I have to do is copy that. I don't have to do anything fancy, and it's Diaz, so I'm sitting here thinking, okay, Diaz comes after B, so I'm gonna hit enter here, and now I'm gonna copy in Diaz, and it's there. So when I look at this now, I'm gonna see, I'm gonna make it small so you can see what's going on, see the whole page a little bit better. So now you can see that I have 3 citations. I have 1 citation that's a different font. So what I'm gonna do very quickly is make everything Times New Roman, so that it all looks the same. Because there's no excuse for having different size fonts in your works cited, okay? So now I have a 3-item works cited in alphabetical order. The only other thing I need to do is come up here on the first line, go up, wait, hold on, there, got my cursor up there. I'm gonna center it and put works cited. So that's in there. Because I have more than one, it has to be plural, works cited, that's done, okay? Now I'm gonna go find a website. That's how easy it was to do this, okay? I'm gonna go find a website. I'm just gonna type in animal experimentation, pros and cons. We'll just do that. And I've got scholarly animal testing pros and cons from animaltestingprocon.org. I'll just do that. So I've got, this looks like, oh, it's Britannica, But it's not gonna necessarily pro and cons. So let's just say, I wanna use this website, all right, because it's got some good information in it. So what I have, it's still loading stuff in there. I'm gonna go over here. There's one other thing I have to do to help myself out. And that would tell us that it is, obviously it's Veterans Day. Y'all aware of that? Okay. I'm gonna type in here, Purdue Al, because I do it so often it shows up, Purdue Al MLA. And right down here it says Purdue Al MLA, so I don't have to go find it on the page. And one of the first things it says up here, and I apologize, the website has lots of ads on it. That's how they pay for it. It's put out by Purdue University, but it's got up here, cite your source automatically in MLA, and I can see it says I could do website, book, journal article, online video or film. That's what you have. And then it goes search by URL. So I'm going to come back over here to animal testing, and I'm going to copy the URL. And I'm going to load that URL in here. And then I click cite. And I've had to turn my volume off because a lot of these ads have music and stuff on them, so I've turned that off. So they've got all this stuff in here, but I have to go down. As I scroll down, and I may make a video on this later on, maybe tomorrow, I can see it says source type, website, animal testing, and I'm going to have it search. Wait, one result found. Okay, we're going to go down to here where it says pros and cons, pro con, and I click cite. Okay, so it tells you here's what we found, pros and cons. Darn it, if you put your cursor in the wrong spot, things pop up. It says, here's what we'll need your help with. We need the publisher, sponsor, edit on the next step. So if I scroll down, I can see continue. And then it says, is there an author? So I'm going to come back to the article. I have to go look for the information. It says the author is procon.org. So I'm just going to, I can't, I'm going to remember it's procon.org, so I'm going to come back over to that citation and type in procon.org. Oh, the C should be capitalized. That's something I got to remember. Oh, it did it. Okay, it's right up there, so I could have found it that way. Procon.org. There is no last, hold on. I'm going to be smart. I'm going to load that into the last name, because that'll put it first. Good morning. We're learning how to do a works cited. Okay, then it says publisher, sponsor. I'm going to go down. One of the things to realize when you're on a website is that a lot of information is always contained at the very end of a page, like the first page. So I'm going to scroll down, all the way down to the bottom of this, and I can see there's all kinds of things. But when you get down here, you can see that it's got contact us, home, about, cite this page. It gives it to you. I'm not sure it's going to be MLA, but I look down here and I see it says 2020 Encyclopedia Britannica, Inc. That is the publisher. So I'm just going to copy that so I don't have to type it. This is how to do a website. I was trying to be nice and show how to do it. And I'm going to put in the publisher, sponsor, so I load that in there, and it's in. So all I have to do is complete citation. Now, it's just a little bit upset with me because I've been going into this. So there's the works cited. Okay, these are the articles I found yesterday. I like, Haley, there's a website called What is Fast Fashion and Why is it a Problem? If you want to just Google that, it's got some good stuff on it. Here's the one I want, right here. And so I can come over here. There it is. That's all it's got. I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to copy that citation. Now it will check my paper for plagiarism if you want to do it. So, but I don't need to check my paper, okay? So now that it's copied, I'm going to come back over here, and I know the author was Procon, so I want to make my source, I want to make it alphabetical order, so I'm just going to paste that in. And guys, I use keystrokes because it's a lot quicker than, sometimes you don't get the right paste thing when you're doing when you're up there and doing that. So now I've got it back double spaced, so all I got to do is make this the right size. It is Times New Roman, so we're going to take it up to 14. So it's the same size as everything else. Oops, it's not double spaced. Hold on. Oh, that's the website. Ah. So sometimes you have to do stuff like that to fix it, okay? So, you guys, I'm going to make a video of what I just done, because I think that might help. So now I have a works cited that has I have 5 sources on it. The first one, now I need to go back and check and make sure that everything has been done correctly, because they don't always give you the italicizing on larger documents. So when I look at the first one, you don't have to go through and make everything capitalized, which traditionally you do, but I know that the Washington Post is a publication, so that needs to be italicized. And I know that Gale, in context, opposing viewpoints needs to be italicized because it's a database. All right, so if I'm going to discuss this article, I will say, Karen Brouillard discusses how dogs experimented. I would do that. I would never say by Gale. Gale is a database. You don't reference a database, okay? You have to reference, you can reference, in the Washington Post, she wrote this, but you would not talk about the database. So I did have to fix that. I come over here to this one. I don't see a date that it was accessed, so I'm going to come back in here and go accessed. Actually, this was November, yesterday was the 10th. Oops. I hate to see, I've got that jumping cursor issue with my computers all the time. November 10, 2021. I put a period. That's the last piece of information, so that people know when I got it, because information changes, right? The same way with this Procon, I need to animal testing. There's the publisher, so I'm going to come over here after this and go access. November 10th, 2021, period. I come down to, that was the website. This is the one from EBSCO. You can see EBSCO gets everything italicized. They just don't give you the access date. On the Sue Lee Wee and Brian Tarnowski, I see the New York Times is not italicized. Those are easy things to fix versus you having to type it, okay? And now I have a works cited done. Now, I don't anticipate you're going to have 4 sources on yours. If you have 3, I'll be happy. If you have 2, you've met the requirement, okay? But say you wanted to add a quote. Let me check my paper. Check your paper for plagiarism. I'll get out of there. If you wanted to add a quote, this is the easiest way to do the website for the quote. If you just said, quote against animal testing. There's images. 8 expert quotes admitting that testing on animals is unreliable. Wow, that's the best thing I could ask for. So you just go traditional, expensive, time-consuming. Okay, there's a quote by Dr. Christopher Austin from the National Institutes of Health, Chemical Genomics Center. So, you know, I could just copy that, and then I can use this and go to that how to cite a website on Purdue OWL. Okay. Again, I'll post this in course resources. Yeah, I'll put it in course resources. So that's how easy it is to do a works cited. And it took me, and I was having to look up stuff. So it took, 15 minutes or less. And by the way, that other article's finally shown up in my school email. Okay? So, but I promise you, I'll do this. It'll be not the greatest video because it takes, you know, just because it's going to take time. But I'll try to replicate what I've done, okay? But I will put the one I just did into the argumentation folder, also into course resources, which is on your main menu. When you come down, when you're down here, course resources is right here. And that's what happens to be what I'm in, where you've got the SBC tutoring. Again, if you need somebody to look at your paper, you can do it between 8 p.m. and 8 a.m. Why not use it? It's free. Tuition helps pay for it. There's tutor.com, that's the one. Purdue Owl, I even have the link for it there. So remember, when you click on it, helps if I click on it, it's going to take you right there. See how it was cite your source automatically in MLA? You just leave it on website, load in the URL of the page you're on, and then you've got to go back and look for a little bit of information, okay? So that's, actually what I might just do is, I might just do EBSCO, I'll do one of each and do it from there, okay? So that's how to do the works cited, and it can't be any easier than that. I mean, and yes, you can try to use one of those. There's lots of documentation pages available online. That's just an extra step you have to go through. You're sure going to have to check and make sure they did it right. You can't assume just because they're free and online that they're going to be correct. Like I had to go back and put in the italicizing on the things like that, adding the date it was accessed. That's all you have to do. So on Friday, you have a grammar quiz over apostrophes. So we're going to spend the rest of the class working on apostrophes. So if you've got those sheets, it would be handy to get them out. Or you can have access to them if you don't have them in your hands. They are in the grammar unit when you go into the class. In course resources, there's also grammar worksheets. So if you don't have them handy, they're right there. See, I'm in course resources, grammar worksheets. I can just scroll down and find, there's the apostrophes handout. Right there, kind of easy. But just as a reminder, there's only 3 times that you use apostrophes. The first is to show possessives, which tends to be the one we get the wrong the most frequently. Then you've got to show the omission of letters when you do a contraction. Can you see what it looks like, Reed? It's bolded, it says worksheets. You got it? Awesome. Yeah, you've also got the practice page that we did. Remember, I got to stand over there. That I can't do that today, so what I'm going to have to do is have you guys give me hand signals what you think the answer is, okay? Because we're going to use grammar bites. But the third time to use apostrophes is to form plurals of numbers, letters, and symbols. And let me tell you, there is a 4th time, but that happens when you have a quote within a quote. But I don't ever want to see single apostrophes around words and you think you're quoting. I've seen those in summaries. So that's one of those notes. Make a note down there. You don't just put apostrophes around words in place of quotation marks. We just don't do that, okay? So now I'm going to go to, if you want to practice before you take the test on Friday, and my recommendation is you take the test on Friday during class. Don't try to wait till you get home after your football game or whatever, basketball, whatever you're playing now. Don't tell me, well, I couldn't get to it because it's too late. You got class time. You need to be taking it in class time. You guys have a benefit. You can take, I have to leave it open for you because you have jobs. They're just in school. The whole point is you're supposed to be doing this during school, not waiting till the last minute and doing it at home and maybe talking to somebody about what was on the test. I'm not dumb. I know what happens. Okay? It's not like I don't allow you to use your worksheets on it. Okay? So, now we're going to switch over and we're going to go to grammar bites. Or if you forget that, you can just type in chomp chomp. They'll both take you to the website. So here it is. It's grammar instruction with attitude. I don't even need to go to the main page. I can just click on exercises. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller so that it's easier to see what's going on. I went to exercises. And if you buy me a copy, what that will do is that's going to ask you to donate money to help them pay for the website. So I'm going to click on apostrophes. I don't know why it's not in alphabetical order. I'm not the one that arranged the website. I guess they just loaded them in as they created them and they haven't ever bothered to fix it. So I'm going to go to apostrophes, and then I'm going to click on interactive exercise 1. Okay, so what's going to happen here, I didn't even show you. Next time, tell me I'm not showing you the computer screen. If you think the answer is A, you raise your hands. If you think the answer is B, I want you to cross them over your chest, because I can't stand over there and have my computer and run back and forth. It's not going to work. So I'm just going to ask classes to give me the answers, okay? So A, B, C, I have 2 C's in our hands, and then D is jazz hands, okay? We don't have a lot of D's, because it's a multiple choice test. It's a little bit easier than what you're gonna take on tomorrow. Tomorrow it's true or false. True if it's, the sentence is correct with apostrophes. Don't think the error is anything but an apostrophe error. That's all the errors are going to be, okay? Nothing else. And then false if it's wrong. So here we go. So I'm going to blow it up so we can see it, so you guys can tell. And I'm just going to start with Hale Center since you're up in my upper left-hand screen. And so you're going to tell, all you have to choose is from A, which is holding your hands up in the air, or B, which is crossing them over your chest, okay? Annoying music escaped from Kenya's earbuds. Is it contains a correct apostrophe A, or no apostrophe is necessary? Hands in the air if it's A, cross your chest if it's B. Any ideas, Hale Center? Y'all awake? Okay, I'm seeing hands in the air. What do you think? Woman Union, do you agree? I see one hand in the air. Come on, okay. And Haley? You can just raise one hand. Okay, what do you guys think? They're saying A. You gonna go with what the high school kids are saying? Okay, well, let's look and see. It says A is yes, yay, good job, Hale Center. And so one of my tips I'm going to give you on the test when you're reading, if something is possessive, it has to have a noun after it that it possesses. We didn't say, annoying music escaped from Kenya's. If it stops right there, it can't be possessive. It would just be Kenya. Annoying music escaped from Kenya. I don't know what Kenya is. It could be something else. But here, it's Kenya's earbuds. And since there's only, we can go with the notion that it's a singular possessive, which is why it's K-A-N-Y-A apostrophe S. Okay? That simple. These don't give you the explanations like it does on some of the others. Okay, Wellman Union, you get number 2. Buy your own pens. You cannot borrow ours. So we've got 3 this time. So remember, A is hands up, B is arms crossed, and C is you hold out your hands making like you're doing Coach clothing or Coach purses, okay? Ours does not need an apostrophe. Ours should have an apostrophe between the R and the S, or ours should have an apostrophe after the S, ours. So what do you think, Wellman? A, B, or C? I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. Okay. I'm seeing A. Ours does not need an apostrophe. What do you think, Hale Center? Is A, B, or C? Gosh, I'll sleep and I see one A. Somebody's raising their hands. Okay. Hey, Haley, what do you think? You're doing B? Okay. And what do you guys think? C is if it should be O-U-R-S apostrophe. What do y'all think? Are you intentionally doing this, or are you just cold? Okay. You guys have no clue. All right. If you will look on your apostrophe pages and go down to where it talks about possessive pronouns, it will tell you that possessive pronouns never get an apostrophe. They're inherently possessive. His car, her clothes, their houses. So you were correct, Wellman Union, saying that it is A. Ours does not need an apostrophe. So let me come back. I'm going to do just a little mini lesson right here. I'm going to go back to its, IT apostrophe S, is always the contraction it is. So when you see it's in a sentence, all you have to do to decide if it gets the apostrophe or doesn't is read it, but read it as it is. Anytime you see ITS. So you go, it is the first of the month. IT apostrophe S is correct because it's the contraction it is. It's Paul was hurt. It is Paul was hurt doesn't make sense. So that's how you decide. If it doesn't make sense, it should be ITS. It's possessive. Okay? Remember, possessive pronouns, no apostrophes. All right. So now we're going to Haley at last, buddy. I don't know, Haley, I think I'm going to have to buy a car. I don't think mine's going to make it much longer. It leaks antifreeze all the time. And yet I've spent $600 in the last 3 months to have my stuff worked on. Says it's, okay. So, sorry, we don't need to know about my tales of woe with my car. All right, so here's your question. Ask Henry for help. His brain possesses all kinds of strange trivia. So, possesses is correct, or you must spell the word like this, possesses. What do you think, Haley? A or B? You're saying B. Okay. Can you tell me why it's B? Oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't ask you that question. It's easier if I ask you guys the question. All right, so let's look at this word. Remember what I told you about whatever, if it's a possessive word, look at the word right after it. So, can all be possessed by something? No, it can't. So, and actually, you have a possessive pronoun in the sentence, the word his. Whose brain? His brain. And what is the brain doing? The brain is possessing all kinds of trivia. Possesses is the verb. This is a frequent error I see in student writing. You'll think, oh, it's got a lot of S's in it, I need to put an apostrophe S on it because, and what you're actually doing is making a singular verb. Singular, that's the quirky deal in English. Plural nouns get verbs that have S's, but they're singular verbs. I didn't make that. That's just how our language evolved over the course of, 2,000 or more years. Okay? So she is correct that it's B. All right, guys, it's up to you two. Oh, hold on. I need to write down that I'm missing some bodies. I've got to find this kind of thing. 11, Rodney, and Jackie. Okay. Okay. So here we go. The alarm clock's buzz startled Shane awake. So clocks does not need an apostrophe, or clock should have an apostrophe between the K and the S. What do you think? A or B? All right. You both said A. A is no apostrophe. All right. They said A. Guys, what do you think? Wellman Union, what do you think? A or B? Is that jazz hands? Oh, wait. Are you raising your hand there? I see it going. You guys are saying A too? How about Hill Center? What do y'all think? A or B? Okay, we got a chest crosser on the front row there. Somebody's thinking in Hill Center. That's awesome. Haley, what do you think? A or B? You're saying A. Okay. Now, remember, the rule is, look at the word right after it. Can it be possessed?
Well, every clock.
So does the clock is it the buzz of the clock? Is it the buzz of the clock? Yes, it's the buzz of the clock, then guess what? Clock should be possessive. The alarm clock's buzz startled Shane. What startled Shane? Buzz. It's a noun. So guess what? Clock should have an apostrophe between the K and the S. It's owned by the clock. It's not like it didn't say the clock buzzed, did it? It said the alarm clock's buzz. And then you have another verb after it. Verbs will end in ED. So that's another thing to help clue you in. It's okay. We can get it wrong. Better to get it wrong now than on the test. Let's go look at number 5. So we're back at Hill Center. Let's try Hill Center again. Okay. While the bee buzzes among the blooms, a patient mantis waits to strike. So we have death in the insectile world, okay? Buzzes does not need an apostrophe. You must spell the word with a Z apostrophe S, or you must have Z-E-S apostrophe. While the bee buzzes among the blooms. What do you think? A, B, or C? Hill Center. A, B, or C? I see a lot of indefinite arm. I see somebody waving one hand in the air in the back. Okay, the rule is, and they're telling you which word to look at, so you've got it easy. What's the word that comes after buzzes? Among. What is among? Is it a noun? Can you possess among? Then it can't be possessive. If you can't, among is a pronoun. Among the trees, among the flowers. It cannot be possessive. So buzzes does not need an apostrophe. So there's your rule. Figure out, so if you see something on the test that has an S at the end of it, look at the word after it and decide, is it the among of the buzzes? See how that doesn't make sense, but if I say the buzz of the alarm clock, that makes sense, okay? That's how they tell you on that page to do it. All right, that one was a little bit tougher. Okay, we go to Wellman Union. The Larsons decided not to shutter their windows, even though they were taking vacation at the height of hurricane season. And all I can say is they're not very smart if they're going to go off and leave their house where it can get hit by a hurricane, and they're not going to close their shutters. Of course, it tells everybody they're gone, but okay. Larsons contains the correct apostrophe. The apostrophe should come after the S. Larsons, or Larsons should not have an apostrophe. What do you think, Wellman? A, B, or C? A, it's correct. B, it's in the wrong spot. And C, it should not have one. Look at the word after Larson's. What is it? It's the word decided. It has an ed on the end of it, so that makes it a verb. You cannot possess a verb. Decided of the Larsons? That sounds like you're speaking Yoda Jedi stuff, right? Decided of the Larsons. So, it can't be decided, so it can't be possessive, so the only option is going to be C. All right? Sorry. I almost lost my voice yesterday by the end of I was singing at choir last night. It was like every other time I tried to sing something, a word would be not there. It's just, they're stripping, and that's what happened. All right, Haley, it's up to you. Betty Ann could not resist petting the adorable poodle puppies. And nice alliteration in there, petting poodle puppies. Alliteration, the repetition of sounds at the beginnings of words, most frequently consonants. That's what I'm teaching next semester. By the way, registration opens tomorrow for the spring. I'm teaching at the same time if you guys have enjoyed my class. We don't write near as much. It's a literature class. You're going to write one major paper and do 1 or 2 projects maybe. That's it. Yeah. It's all about learning literature. So what do you think, Haley? A, B, or C? Puppies contains the correct apostrophe, no apostrophe necessary, and puppies should have the apostrophe after the S. Are you doing B? No apostrophe is necessary? Awesome job, Haley. She's going to be our resident apostrophe authority, okay? Because it's the last word in the sentence. It can't be possessive. You have to have something after it that it possesses. Are y'all aware possessives are adjectives? Because they tell you whose. It's an adjective. So you can't end a sentence with a possessive adjective because you have to have what's after it. Oh, we write like that. Yeah, we leave them out all the time, but you're not supposed to. Okay? So no apostrophe is necessary. Yes. And that's why it's not. Okay, 8 goes to SPC. All right, our stomachs might burst. We shouldn't have eaten so many fried cheese sticks. All of a sudden it's not possessive. All of a sudden it's a contraction. So, shouldn't contains the correct apostrophe. The apostrophe must come between the D and the N where the space was omitted. What do you think? A. Shouldn't contains a correct apostrophe. All right, what do you think? They said A. Everybody else, are you A or are you B? I'm seeing A's. All right. And remember, when you're doing a contraction, it's not between the 2 words, it's between the letters you omit in the contraction. That's what the rule says on the page. Woo, yeah. Let's see. We'll do a couple more and then we're going to switch to another exercise. Here we go, Health Center. Philip banged his knees on the metal bar beneath the desk. That happens at these tables, doesn't it? These tables are very narrow. You probably run into that at Wilmington and at Last Buddy. These ITV little tables are only they're not even 2 feet wide. The width is not even 2 feet. So if you're not careful, you hit that shelf underneath with your knees. Okay? So is it knees contains the correct apostrophe? It should have the apostrophe before the S, or there's no apostrophe in knees. Who am I asking? Who? Health Center? Health Center, what do you think? Philip banged his knees on the metal bar beneath the desk. A, B, or C? Is that an A? Or are you trying to make C's? I see a C. Yeah, the hands. Okay. So you're doing this. Or we can make little hearts, couldn't we? That might be easier. Okay. All right. They're saying C, and guess what? They are correct. There's no apostrophe in knees because what comes after knees? On. On of the knees. That makes no sense. Remember, possessives or adjectives, they have to be really, really, really close. Almost next to, you can have like one other adjective after them, like Philip's knees. Well, I can't even do it with the word knees. But there are some later on, like you might say, you're talking about the dog's painted collar. See, the word painted is also an adjective. So you can have a string of adjectives before you have the noun. So, knees should have no apostrophe. Yes, all right. Let's go. 10 is gonna be Woman Union. Kimberly's agile fingers typed the password too quickly for Pedro to catch. He's a little password thief, isn't he? So Kimberly's contains the correct apostrophe, or the apostrophe should come after the S. Okay. The process of elimination, because they only give you two options, says it should be possessive. That's what this is telling you. Okay? You've got to realize when your answer options are limited, here it tells you the word should be possessive. So if you look at whatever comes after Kimberly's, it's agile fingers. It's not agile. Agile is another adjective that describes Kimberly's fingers. So now you have to decide, is Kimberly singular or plural? If she's typing, it has to be singular. So singular is always the name, apostrophe, S. So it's going to be what? Wellman Union? It's going to be A. Yeah. All right. Haley? Oh, sorry. We wouldn't try one of your oatmeal raisin cookies for cash. We have seen your dirty kitchen. So we have is the correct contraction. You must spell the word like this. Weave. Weave or weave? Which one? A or B, Haley? Are you doing, all I can see is your head turning. It's not, you're not holding up your hand, so, okay. She says B. We must spell the word like this. Weave. Yeah. We, A-V, yeah, yesterday I laughed the first time I read that because I couldn't get it out. It was so wrong. Okay? Weave. We have, okay? All right, guys, you get the last one out of this one, even though there's more. We spent more time on our science fair project than Karen and Denny did, but everyone is ignoring our work to view theirs instead. So theirs contains the correct apostrophe, theirs should have the apostrophe after the S, and theirs should not have an apostrophe. So Karen and Denny, that's plural, there's two people. You're saying C? I got a C from, you're saying C too? Yeah, because it's a possessive pronoun, and possessive pronouns never get apostrophe S's. Good job. Okay. So we're going to take just a second here, resettle our minds. We're going to go to a different exercise. Sorry. I just hope they get the cotton. They've started stripping the cotton. You know, there's cotton fields when you drive out to Reese. In Lubbock, you come past cotton fields. And so they've started stripping. And as a result, all that extra dust is in the air. So I've got wonderful, that's what all this is coming from. Come on. I can get this to move. My fault. I got to make it smaller. I've got to go back and have. That's my problem. Okay, I'm going into apostrophes. I'm going to go to exercise 4. I haven't seen exercise 4, so it's brand new for me too, okay? We'll just see how well I can remember it. Okay, so use an apostrophe or apostrophe plus S to simplify the long underlined phrase. Okay, we're not going to do this one because that's not going to work. I don't want to have to do that. We'll try, what's interactive 5? Nope, so we'll have to go back to 3. Sorry. Oh, let's do 2. All right, here we go. Let me make it big. So we're back at Health Center. Now you've got 3 things to choose from. So you can't, they're not giving you, like when they had Kimberly's and you knew it had to be possessive because there were, where does the S go? Or the apostrophe S, okay? So now you've got to decide which is wrong. To avoid muddy dog prints on Mom's clean floor, we left the puppies in the backyard. So change prints to prints, change moms to moms, and change puppies to puppies. What do you think's the error? Okay. To avoid muddy dog prints on Mom's clean floor, we left the puppies in the backyard. So is it A, prints needs to be possessive, mom shouldn't be possessive, which is B, or puppies should be spelled P-U-P-P-I-E-S? A, B, or C? You going with C? I see an A. I see a C. Okay, I'm seeing A's and C. Are you holding up a C now? Yeah, we're all going to copy the tall guy in the front, right? Okay. So, prints, remember when you look at prints, what's the word after it? On of the prints, does it make sense? Mom's clean floor of the moms. Yeah, that should be possessive. We left the puppies in of the puppies, no. So that's just spelled wrong. And that happens a lot. You can't change puppies to puppies. Good job, Health Center. Okay. Wellman, you're up next. Strands of hair whipped Jessica's face as the cold wind blew through the bare trees. So say, change strands to strands possessive, change Jessica's to plural Jessicas, and change trees to possessive trees, or no changes necessary. So you've got A, B, C, D. What was D? Jazz hands, okay. All right, so strands of hair whipped Jessica's face as the cold wind blew through the bare trees. A, B, C, or D, Wellman? A, you got to change strands to possessive. B is get rid of the possessive Jessicas. C is make trees possessive, or D is no change. So let's do the process of elimination. Jazz hands, so you're saying no change. What do y'all think? You think it's A? Okay. Now, remember, if you're going to make something possessive, look at the word after it. Would it be of the strands? Okay? It's that simple to figure it out, isn't it? Yeah, no, no, hair can't be possessed. It's the object of a preposition. That's what of is always going to be a preposition, okay? Strands of hair whipped Jessica's face, so Jessica's face of Jessica, yeah, it belongs to her. And trees is the last word in the sentence, and you can't be possessive if you're the last word in the sentence. That's a great rule to remember, isn't it? So it's got to be D. You were right, Wellman. All right, Haley, you are up next with number 3. Even on the belt's last hole, the baggy jeans kept sliding off Roger's hips, making the poor boy waddle like a penguin. I have to tell y'all, are baggy pants still in style? Well, they were when I first started teaching in high school. I was in Walmart, and there was a guy in front of me in shorts, and I promise you, the crotch was at least 2 feet below where it should be. And I'm like, how do you walk in those? And they were shorts. So, you know, the shorts were hanging down around the middle of his calf. I'm like, okay. I thought baggy had gone out, but, you know, apparently it's still in. Well, okay. Yeah. All right, so Haley, change belts to belts, make it possessive. Change jeans to jeans, make that possessive. Get rid of the possessive in Rogers, or make no change. What do you think? A, B, C, or D? She's doing jazz hand. You're saying make no changes necessary. Okay. So let's work our way through all 4 of them. We'll start with belts, last hole. So the last hole of the belt, does the belt own that hole? What do you think, Haley? Does the belt own the hole? Oh, so are you going to change you're going to change back? Yeah, there's your error. The belt owns the hole. Think about it. Even on the belt's last hole. If it's plural, you would be talking about more than one belt. Are you with me? So it helps to know exactly what's going on in the sentence. So, because belts, B-E-L-T-S would be multiple belts. So if it's going to be correct, it has to be apostrophe S. So it has to be that one. So it's right there. It's the very first one. Y'all see? Baggy jeans, keep of the jeans. Doesn't make sense. And Roger's hips, yeah, those hips are Roger's. There's no doubt of that. Okay? All right, number 4, guys. Even after 4 cups of coffee, Melissa couldn't muster the energy to finish the journal assignments for Professor Koopman's class. What do you think? Change cups to possessive, change couldn't to couldn't, change Koopman's to Koopman's, or no changes necessary? B. Are you telling me that couldn't shouldn't be done D apostrophe NT? The rule is the apostrophe goes where the missing letter is when you do a contraction. So it should be C-O-U-L-D-N apostrophe T. You're right. Yeah, good job. Makes you feel better when you're trying. If we could just get all the possessive, so what I'm seeing is that we're okay when it's not it as a contraction, but when it's possessive, we're not always sure if it should be possessed or not. So sometimes if you can't tell, like, you have to realize if belts is correct, then it would have to be talking about plural belts, which means there would have to be plural holes. And you can't change that part of the sentence. You only can change belt. All right. Back to health center. We're going to do just a couple more. The lawnmower's roar woke Stephen, from a sound sleep. He cursed his neighbor's dedication to yard maintenance and dove under the blankets. So change mowers to mowers, not possessive. Change neighbors to not possessive. Change blankets to not possessive, or no changes necessary. So look at the word after all of these possessives. Should be very easy which one's wrong. What did I just tell you? That it can, what can never be possessive? The last word in the sentence can never be possessive. Does that make sense? Okay. Y'all agree? Yeah, it's the last one. The last word cannot be possessive. It's that simple. So if I gave you a test like this, you'd probably do well. This is a lot more work than just a true-false. I have to come up with all those extra answers. Okay? All right. Wellman Union. We got to one with its in it. Yay. The bed beckoned with its soft pillows and warm blankets, but Tommy still had 25 problems to solve for Mr. Takashima's algebra class. So change ITS to its, change problems to problems, change Takashima's to Takashima's, or no change. What do you think? The rule when you're dealing with its is read the sentence and read it as it is when you see IT apostrophe S. The bed beckoned with it is soft pillows. What do you think, Wellman? It's A, yeah. You wouldn't say the bed beckoned with it is soft pillows. That makes no sense. So it is A. You don't even have to go any farther. Problems is okay, because problems is not going to be possessive of two. And yeah, Takashima's, it's his class. Okay. Good job. We got time for one more, and then we'll stop. So we'll go to Haley. Jeanette hated my Halloween costume because she loves zombies, so she'll like yours. A, zombies should be possessive. She'll is, they've got she, ill, sorry, and yours to yours. A, B, C, or D? What do you think, Haley? C. You're right. Remember, possessive pronouns never have apostrophes, okay? So, the test tomorrow, make sure, take it, don't postpone it, okay? Take your test. And on Monday, we are looking at, see, the good news is I'm actually not working off this. We're going to talk about rebuttal discussion. We're going to talk about misplaced modifiers, dangling modifiers. And remember, if you need work to do after you take your quiz tomorrow, work on the rough outline. That's 25 points. And when you consider 25, the percentage on 25 out of 100 would be 25%, so that's 2.5% of the total points. Remember, it's a point total in this class. You have to hit 700 to make the C. You can move on to 1302 with a D, but a D will not transfer to any other university. I'll just tell you. So, you got to have a C. All right, have a great weekend. I will get all of those summaries graded. I have them all printed. I am that far along. I will say that much. Okay? I got to go scan a couple of documents and get them sent to school.